The tools you need for modelling are essentially simple, and a lot of them can be made yourself. Let's start at the beginning with clay as it comes out of the bag. It's usually a block, and you need something like this to cut it. I've made this myself. It's an old guitar string and a couple of dowels, and it's basically a cheese cutter, and you need that to cut through the clay and take off lumps. A knife won't do it. A knife is just too much like hard work. So something simple like this, you can buy them or make it yourself, a little wire cutter to begin with. Now, because clay is all based around water, you need some sort of water spray like this. Then I also have a little thing I've invented myself. This is a plastic pot, the sponge that's normally full of water, and a little dipping pot here. So this is a little reservoir of water, either to wipe something or to take a little bit of water out. That's a very useful little thing to make yourself. When it comes to actually removing clay, these sort of tools, which are dowels or handles with little shaped wire ends, are very useful. It's probably easier to buy these and make them. This is one of the exceptions. You need a particular type of strong wire here and a ferrule, for example. Now, the different shapes, and I suggest you just start with one or two and see how you get on. Some of the shapes, like for example this one, echo a gouge. So you can use this for taking a scoop out, or here's the other one, it's got a little bend in, a scoop that sort of mimics a gouge cut. So they're quite useful in that way. So these tools are used for taking away clay. But most of the time we're adding to the clay, so we need basically the best tool, which is your hand, and then when your hand doesn't work, you start using little bits of wood. Now, I've made all sorts of different modelling tools over the years. This example, for example, is a very simple one. I keep them straight. It's a very dense wood, as oily a dense wood as you can get. Teak will do, maple will do, something that gives you a very fine surface. I always keep a couple of blanks around, and then when I find my hands don't work, I can't get into something, I can make, very simple, make a little extension of my finger. So I've got a series of different shapes here, very simple, keeping it simple, and on the download that accompanies this video, I'll give you some patterns for these. So these are basically square-ended, half-round, more like an oval sort of rounded end, cove ends and so on. So I've got a few of these. You can buy tools, and you might want to do this, but these come in a whole series of shapes. They're often plastic as well, very cheaply. If you want to start with something like that, by all means do. But I do like to make the tools that I need as I go along. And then I build up a set. These, for example, are made from metal. This is made from an old spoon, and this was a very useful little edge for a particular job that I needed. Here is another modelling tool made of metal. You can buy these, or again try and make something that fits. This is a little rounded ended metal tool. So whatever you're making, whether it's wood or metal, whether you buy it or make it yourself, you will need modelling tools for when your fingers won't get into the work. And lastly, here is a turntable. This is a brilliant piece of kit for working three-dimensional objects. You can work all the way around very easily. You can use a board or a plate or something like that instead, but if you treat yourself to one of these, you'll find you'll never regret it. This one has a little locking screw underneath, and it fixes it in position. So do consider a turntable. And with that, that's the end of a quick introduction to the tools for working clay. So let's move on to doing something with the clay itself.